Just consider one decision that you make today has the potential to change the rest of your life. I mean, every day you decide, am I going to wake up an hour earlier like I said I would and get myself to the gym or not? Should I have that cookie at work or not? Now look, it may seem silly. You're like, oh, for God's sakes, Mel, come on. It's not silly at all. Everything, I mean everything about where you are in your life right now, every aspect of your life is in large part a result of your past decisions.
You are one decision away from changing your life. And you have to accept that. You're one new meeting, one new relationship, one new contact, one new action, one new decision away from shifting your life from where it is right now to a totally different place.
I believe that the single most important skill is the ability to make effective decisions, because everything comes from decision. You only get new results if you take new actions. You only take new actions if that decision comes first.
Do you know the reason most people don't make decisions? Because they can't see how they're going to get there. So what do? They keep doing things that they can see how they're going to get there. And that's why their life never really changes.
So one of the reasons why we're afraid of making decisions, especially tough decisions, right, is because whenever we make a decision, the whole idea, the whole meaning of decision in Latin is to cut away from the past. Meaning, if I decide that I want to get married, I am cutting away from being single. If I decide from having a baby and becoming a parent, I'm cutting away from sleeping 8 hours of sleep. If I make a decision to become an entrepreneur, I'm cutting away from having a 9-to-5 job security. That's why we're afraid of making tough decisions.
I want you to focus for a moment on all those times in your life when you've been at a crossroads and you have to make a decision, okay? It could be, should I start this business that I wanted to start? Should I sell my business? Should I take on this person to be my business partner? In all those moments, you're at an important point in your life and you have to make a decision, okay? You go through a process, you think about it, you think, if I do this, bad things could happen. You know, you tend to focus on all the negative. Or what a lot of people do is they think, this is just going to be fantastic. This business I'm going to start is just going to do wonderful. In either case, you go through a process, you kind of look at certain possibilities, and you make your decision. And you think that your decision was rational. You think your decision was based on a methodical process and that you were dealing with reality. But I'm here to say that that is not at all true. Your decision was based on your attitude, how you looked at things, right?
At the end of the day, I think we could all agree that no matter what happens in life, we are a byproduct of our decisions. We can all agree on that, right? And if you can agree on that, then you're at the right place. If you're like, no, bad things just seem to happen to me, I have no control of anything that happens to me, I'm just a byproduct of circumstance, then don't watch this channel. This is not the channel for you. However, if you realize that you are a byproduct of the decisions that you have made.
The life that you have is the life that you chose.
You have to live purposefully. People are just going with the flow.
The life that you have is the life that you chose.
Exactly, yeah, it's true.
Where you're currently living, what you're currently doing, you chose that. You have people complain about having kids, people complain about having responsibilities, people complain about their rent, people complain about their student loans. Most of these things in life are self-imposed.
Yeah, 100%.
You self-impose all this bullshit. You self-impose a lot of these issues in your life. That's just the nature of the game.
And I want to remind you, making no decision is a decision because you're deciding to stay exactly where you are and ignore what your intuition is telling you. You're deciding to accept less than you deserve and delay making the changes that will bring you happiness and more satisfaction in your life. Those are decisions, and you need to wake up and recognize that you're making them. Just imagine yourself a year from now. You're in the marriage. You're in the job. You still live in the same place.
Your life doesn't change in a year. Your life changes in the tiny decisions you repeat for a year. We waste entire years waiting for motivation, waiting for clarity, waiting for timing, waiting for confidence. And while we wait, the year quietly disappears.
And one of the things that took me a very long time to understand was that the things that dragged me down were not the things that I thought they were. Because the heaviest things in life aren't iron or gold, but they're unmade decisions. They're the things that weigh us down. They take up all of our attention, all of our brain power. And so right now, there's probably a handful of decisions that you know you need to make that you're just not. If you want to feel yourself go so much faster than you ever have, just decide.
But if you start making the smaller decisions quickly without him and hawing over it, you're teaching your subconscious mind that whenever I come to a fork in the road to make a decision, I make the decision, and if I have to course correct, I will. So then when the big decisions come up in life about business, about marketing, about investing, about marriage, about moving, you can make the decision quickly because you've trained your subconscious mind. That's the secret.
You don't need the money until after you make the decision. Person say, I want to take a trip, and I'm going to go as soon as I get the money. You don't need the money to make the decision to take the trip. I'm going to start my own business. As soon as everything's right. Things are never going to be right. You've got to make a decision. Now, do you see, when you make the decision, everything starts to change.
I've got to make a decision, and when you look at the root word of decision, it's decadere, which means to cut off. I'm going to cut off all other options. You know, I'd heard like Will Smith say there's no reason to have plan B because it distracts from plan A. Like, it's got to be the thing. And I was like, oh my God, I got to commit to this thing. I can't have any more feelings of like, I'm going to go back to working for someone else. Like, this is my life path. I'm either going to succeed at it or I'm going to die trying. And I was like,
how do we make good decisions? Well, number one, making correct decisions. You got to study. You got to know and understand. You got to know the background. You've got to know the historical outcomes of equivalent type decisions that have happened in the past, similar situations. And if you know the history and you know the background, then you can use those to assess the current situation you're in. And then once you assess the decisions that you can make, assess the possible actions that you can take, and then assess the outcomes that those decisions will have, those actions will have. And when you're doing that, you also have to assess the possibilities of inaction. So a lot of times people forget that one. They don't know if they should do A or B. What they forget is there's also, what if I don't do either? What's going to happen? Sometimes not doing either is good. Or a lot of times not doing either is bad. So you got A or B. What should you do?
So in life, whatever decision you're getting ready to make, you want to marry, you want to go out there and raise money, you want to go invest, you want to go be a businessman, you want to quit your job, you want to be this, you have to go to that position of asking yourself, if I take action, what are the consequences? And the consequences I get, how do I respond and react to these consequences? And then for the rest of your career, it's the same exact thing. Constantly have to repeat this entire thing over and over and over again.
The first biggest decision that you'll make in your entire life is who you're going to surround yourself with. The people that you surround yourself with, your friends, your family, everything. Because you become who you surround yourself with. And so this is one of the most important decisions that you ever make in your entire life, is the people that are in your life. You will either rise to the standards of people around you, or you will lower your standards to people around you. I don't know why it tends to be this way, but for most people in most circles, it's usually they need to lower their standards.
In other words, decision is the father and mother of all action. But not all decisions are equally good, as we all know. And the quality of our life comes down to the quality of our decisions. You want action. Action means you have to make some decisions along the way. And decisions, most people are so afraid to make the wrong decision, they don't make any decision.
Too many times we're making ourselves small and not forcing others to realize how important our dreams and our endeavors are. But it starts with you. They're not gonna believe it if you don't. Why should I ever believe that what you're doing is important if you don't believe it? And I don't mean just believe it, I mean believe it so clearly and wholeheartedly that it's contagious. That's the other thing. The healthy arrogance is internal, but it also manifests itself in a way that you walk into a room different.
I don't know what it is, but I know there's a decision that you need to make to take you to the next level, just like I know that's true for me. Because decisions shape our destiny when they're backed up by some massive ass action.
You are the source of your own problems. Because you are anxious and negative and narrow and seeing all the negative things, you make bad decisions. You decide not to start that business when it's actually the best thing that you could do. You decide to take that job that pays so well because you want money, but it's not a job suited to you, etc., etc. You're making bad decisions because of your attitude. If you are open and expansive, if you are not afraid of life, if you think of something as like an adventure. And if I start that business, if I write that book and it fails, so be it. I've learned something. It's fun. It's like if I cross that river, I leaped across it and I fell. Okay, I got wet. It's a little bit cold. So what? You know, ha ha ha. It made me tougher. That expansive attitude creates your circumstance. So the idea is you think that you don't have so much control over your life, but you have much more control than you think.
So when you understand that everything is self-imposed, then you're like, okay, I'm gonna be a little bit more relaxed on my responsibilities. I'm gonna be more careful about the decisions and the commitments that I make because I understand that there's long-term consequences to it. I see a lot of people complaining, dude, but very few people taking
100%.
action.
Yeah.
Most people make excuses. Very few people make moves.
Very important decision you make is who you want to be. Essentially, what you want your values to be. Who do you want to be in this lifetime? What do you want to achieve? We're all going to die one day. It's happening. And at your funeral, what do you want people to say about you? Because when you get to your funeral, people are not going to say, oh, this guy had $10 million in his bank account. Oh my gosh, this guy built a business with 1,000 employees. No, they're going to say who you were.
Stop aiming for a perfect life. Aim for a life you're proud to remember. Stop holding back just to stay safe. Safety won't comfort you at 80. Stop letting fear make your decisions. It's not the one who has to live with them. Stop asking, what if it goes wrong? Ask, what if I never tried? Stop replaying the past and use that energy to create a better now.
What is the most important thing you think for somebody to do?
Adjust your mindset so that you realize there is not a person on this planet that is more deserving of success than you are. Not one person. I don't care how big they are, how famous they are, how rich they are. There's not a person on the planet who deserves success more than you.
Wow.
And you gotta mean it. You gotta believe it. You gotta believe you're the most important person on the planet to achieve the success. And I don't mean sort of successful, a little bit, I mean outsized success, right? Life is hard and life is short. Let's dream. Let's dream in color. Let's go for it. What if you get it?
It's time to wake up. Wake the up, bro. Enough with the bullshit, enough with the excuses, enough with the nonsense, enough with being in a situation where you're always complaining, where you're always pointing fingers. Point the fingers at yourself. The life that you have is the life that you chose. If you don't like the life that you have, it's your damn fault, dude. Change. Make different decisions. Hang out with different people. Instill some discipline, some habits. Win.
You repeat what you don't repair. You repeat what you don't reflect on. You repeat what you don't release. You repeat what you don't reveal. You repeat what you don't reframe. You repeat what you don't respect in yourself. And you repeat what you don't take responsibility for. Patterns don't disappear with time. They disappear with work.
And so you can move through life at 7 times the rate of other people by simply changing when you say you're going to make a decision from the end of the week to the end of the day. And if you want to move even faster than that, you can decide at the end of the hour. And if you want to move faster than that, guess what you could do? Decide now.
Your mind and thoughts must be focused on the same frequency as your goal. How do we do that? We make a committed decision. That's where I'm going. And when you make the committed decision, that's irrevocable. You cannot go back. You shut the past off. You begin thinking on this higher frequency, and you think and act like the person you want to become. Does it sound preposterous? That's what the Wright brothers did, and they introduced us to a new kingdom. That's what Sir Edmund Hillary did. I had the good fortune of working with him. He was a beekeeper from Auckland, New Zealand. He was the first person to ever climb Mount Everest. He didn't know how to get to the top of that mountain until after he got there. He trusted in the image that he held in his mind. You got to trust in the image you hold in your mind. You got to think like the person you want to become. It takes a decision to get up on that higher frequency. And the second you make the decision, everything starts to happen. You got to believe you can do it.
Those are all the string of bad decisions, all the string of bad emotional decisions. But if your mind is stronger than your feelings and emotions, then you can override that by saying, I have made this commitment to myself. I've made the commitment to my future self, and therefore I will get up even if it's cold. I will get up even if it's dark. I will get up even if it's uncomfortable, and I will do what's right for me because the decision I'm making today is either going to pay me in the future, is either going to have a positive payout in the future.
Now, one of the most important things to remember, and there's a little dichotomy to this, is that you don't always have to make giant decisions. You don't always have to make the all powerful decision of might. You know, it's like, do we go or do we not go? You don't always have to say we go.
Right.
Sometimes you can go, well, let's push a little further. Yeah. let's move a little bit further before we make that decision. Or hey, let's stay where we are and see if it develops. Or let's back up a little bit and keep watching. So instead of we go or we don't go, there's actually a bunch of different decisions that you can make besides we can go or don't go.
If the decision doesn't match your values and principles, move on. Meaning, you're gonna have a lot of different opportunities in your life. And when I say opportunities, I'm not just talking about money and making millions. I'm talking about different relationships, people that enter in your life. If an opportunity comes your way and it's very attractive, but it doesn't match your values and principles that you live by, don't even think twice about it. Move on. That headache and you sleeping on a hard pillow at night is not worthy of you making that decision, because then your mind is being consumed of something you did that doesn't match your values and principles. The moment you're unaligned, you're not fulfilled, and you won't enjoy yourself while you're doing that. So it's simple. Decision doesn't match your values and principles, don't even think about it, move on.
What would you like people to say about you at your funeral? And then start building from there. How you acted, how you treated people, were you giving, were you honest, were you humble? All of those things. What do you want them to say about you? What characteristic traits do you want? Who do you want to be? What values do you want to uphold? Oh man, he was so trustworthy. He was so reliable. He was so humble, giving, loving. You could call him up and he'd give you the shirt off his back. Who do you want to be in this lifetime is an extremely, extremely important decision.
So you should basically be the person that your mum thinks you are, or the person that your younger self wanted as a role model. Brave, courageous, earnest, honest, virtuous, like on fire. There's this quote from the ancient Greeks that says, live as though all your ancestors were living again through you.
Successful people are not those who necessarily make the right decisions all the time, but by hanging in there, they make their decisions right. If they make a mistake, they accept it. They learn as much as possible from it, failing and making mistakes, and carry on. The more you fail and the more mistakes you make, the smarter you become, and the more likely it is that you will eventually achieve your goals.
Yeah, it's the hardest thing in the world, starting over. It's back to the 0 to 1 thing. It's the mountain climbing thing. You're not going to find your path to the top of the mountain in the first go around. Sometimes you go up there, you get stuck, and you come back down. And the difference between all the successful people and the ones who are not is the ones who are successful want it so badly they're willing to go back and start over again and again, whether in their career or in their relationships or in anything else.
Doesn't matter. To be honest, I jumped over a car. When I believe I can do something, if I look at something and I believe I can do it, I know I can do it.
Learn to say no. Learn to say not now. Learn to say this doesn't work for me. Learn to say I can't carry that today. Learn to say I need space. Learn to say I've changed my mind. Learn to say I deserve better. Learn to say yes only when your whole self agrees. Because every fake yes is a quiet betrayal. And every honest no is an act of respect for you and for them. Stop waiting till you're perfect. Just start. Stop waiting to feel certain. Progress builds confidence. Stop waiting till you feel ready. Confidence comes after, not before. Stop waiting till they approve. Most people are too scared to even try. Stop waiting till you have more time. You make time for what matters. Stop waiting for it to be easy. What transforms you rarely is. A year isn't 365 days. It's 52 chances, 12 chapters, and 4 seasons. Your life can change this year. Not because the year is magical, but because you are capable. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need certainty. You don't need confidence. You need momentum. You need one decision. You need one step, and you need to remember this. 1 year of intention can undo 10 years of drifting.
Every aspect of your life is in large part a result of your past decisions. And more importantly, this is what I want you to really consider: who you're going to be in the future. Every aspect of who you become, from how much money you have, to what your relationships are like, to what your friend groups are like, to what your health is like, how you spend your days, is 100% a result of the decisions you make today. That's how powerful your decisions are.
Here's the truth. One decision can separate who you were from who you're becoming. One decision can end an old chapter and begin a better one. One decision can change your confidence forever. And one decision can rewrite your entire story. All it takes is one decision.
Whether you're in the first, second, or even third act, it's not over. You gotta remember, it's the way you end it. It is the way you leave people feeling about what your most recent accomplishments are. So it's never too late.
What I also love about this is if you don't like how it feels, we know you're not in the third act yet.
There you go. That's right. You're not at the end. You're not at the end. You still got more acts to go. You still got an opportunity to change and create a blockbuster life. Never too late to pivot. The power of the pivot. I'm a big believer in embracing that power. Your movie's not over. Your story is not over being told.